Back. Today I've got a moment from Capitol Hill that'll make your jaw drop. Senator John Kennedy just called out the NIH, and he brought the receipts. Picture this, billions of your tax dollars, supposedly going to medical breakthroughs. But Senator Kennedy, he's not buying the story. And after hearing what he unearthed, neither am I. He kicked things off with a question so sharp it almost sounded like a joke. Do you hate medical research? Do you hate the NIH? Of course Bhattacharya says no, he's dedicated his life to it. But Kennedy wasn't here for small talk, he wanted answers.
Thank you. Senator Kennedy.
Doctor, you don't look like Satan to me.
I hope not.
Some of my colleagues have accused you of everything but abandoning your children to wolves. Do you hate medical research?
I've devoted my life to medical research, Senator.
Do you hate the NIH?
I love the NIH. I think I said that in my Senate hearing, my earlier Senate hearing. I think it's the most important biomedical institution in the world.
This budget that we're debating today is the president's budget. When's the last time Congress took a president's budget and enacted it?
You know, the funny thing is, thanks to this process, I've got to talk with all of y'all.
When's the last time that happened?
I can't remember.
It's never happened in the history of ever happened.
I mean, everyone has strong opinions about what should happen, and Congress gets to have a say, and that's a good thing.
There's some changes that need to be made at the NIH, aren't there?
There are.
And then, the bombshell. Kennedy lays out how federal grants, our money, have paid for luxury renovations and even, believe it or not, a yacht. Not a metaphor, an actual yacht. If that's not wild enough, get this. Elite universities like Harvard and Yale spend upwards of 69% of their NIH grants on overhead. We're talking admin, buildings, whatever else they call support. Meanwhile, private foundations like Gates, they cap overhead at 10%. So why are we letting the richest schools in America take such a massive cut?
Asked for $20 million to research a cure for dementia. And I took $5 million of that and used it to buy a yacht for my university. That would be morally repugnant, wouldn't it?
That would, and no, that's not.
And that's happened before, hasn't it?
That's not hypothetical, alas.
And there's been a lot of talk about the difference between direct costs, spending the money, for example, on researching cures for nephritis, and indirect costs, overhead. Harvard, for example, with a $53 billion endowment, spends 69% of its money from NIH on overhead, does it not?
I haven't looked at the latest numbers, but it's definitely in that range.
Yale spends 67.5% on overhead, does it not?
Again, roughly in that range, yes.
So all this money spent on overhead is money that's not being spent on medical research, is that right?
Well, it's for fixed costs of like lab space and things, but also sometimes for other things. So it's some of it's absolutely necessary.
Well, if I'm the Gates Foundation, and I came to the NIH and said, I don't want money. I want to give you money. I want to give you $100 billion.
Yeah.
But you can't spend more than 10% on overhead. Would the NIH turn it down?
I wouldn't turn it down, no. In fact, I think that Gates Foundation overhead rates are roughly, again, in that range, 10 to 15%.
The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation limits overhead to 15%, does it not?
That's what I understand, something like that.
Now, I want you to think in terms of the American people and the importance of medical research. What do you think is more important? And we have finite resources, okay? And I support giving resources to NIH. I think NIH does breathtakingly innovative work.
And here's where it gets even more controversial. Kennedy pulls out the receipts. $142,000 to study gender-affirming care in kids, $120,000 for 3D avatars tackling gender dysphoria, $2.3 million on LGBTQ mental health during COVID. He asks, shouldn't NIH focus on diseases like dementia, or are we chasing political trends?
The NIH also spent $120,000 in a grant to, quote, develop 3D avatars that help people work through gender dysphoria, end quote. Did it not?
It did.
And the NIH also spent $2,368,492, gave it to Brown University to study, quote, improving mental health among the LGBTQ community impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Did it not?
I think it did. Although I have to say that
Do you think that's more important than studying chronic lower respiratory disease?
Bhattacharya tries to dodge, but the facts are right there. Then, the kicker. Kennedy reveals that between 2017 and 2019, NIH funded over 130 clinical trials involving 41,000 kids, yet many results were never published. If research isn't shared, is it even research? Or are we just throwing money into a black hole?
Between 2017 and 2019, auditors found 137 critical trials funded with taxpayer money involving 41,000 kids, and they didn't even report the results. What happened to the money?
Senator, I think that researchers we support have an obligation to share their data publicly with the American people, no matter what the result.
Otherwise, it's wasted.
Yeah, agree.
All you want to do is fix NIH, don't you?
I do. I want to fix all those problems, Senator.
Senator Kennedy isn't trying to take down the NIH, he's fighting to fix it. And honestly, after hearing all this, I'm with him. So what do you think? Should NIH face stricter audits? Should we cap overhead? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more real talk like this, smash that like and subscribe. Stay curious, stay critical, and always follow the money.